Good evening, everyone. I am Shivam Gawande. I am from IIT Bombay. During my internship at Maritime Research Centre, I worked on the problem of detecting and characterizing small artisanal fishing fleets operating beyond AIS coverage in the Indian EEZ. Since direct validation of non-IIS vessels is challenging, I developed a VIRS-based satellite detection framework and validated it using Maharashtra's annual monsoon fishing ban as a national experiment. So India's exclusive economic zone covers approximately 2.4 million square kilometers, but our current maritime monitoring relies heavily on AIS. The challenge is that most artisanal fishing boats either do not carry AIS or are not required to transmit their location. This creates a significant blind spot for maritime security, fishery management, and blue economy planning. The objective of my work was to investigate whether freely available NOAA VRS boat detection data could complement AIS by monitoring vessel activity independently of the vessel broadcast. So, among the available technologies such as SAR, RF, and optical imagery, I selected VRS boat detection because it provides publicly available nighttime vessel detections independent of the AIS. To evaluate the methodology, I used Maharashtra's annual fishing ban as a proof of concept. If the framework is reliable, vessel detection could should consistently decrease during the ban period and recover once the ban is lifted. This provides a real-world validation scenario for assessing the performance of the framework. So to address this problem, I first developed and first extracted Maharashtra's coastal district from the geo boundaries. Uh, and administrative data set. Since Raigad district boundary extend inland, I manually processed it so that only its coastal contributed to the study area. Next, I dissolved all the coastal districts into a single coastline, projected the geometry, generated a 12 nautical mile offshore buffer. Using this study area, I processed 16 monthly NOAA VRS boat detection rasters covering May to August. Each raster was clipped and masked to a closure polygon, after which I extracted the total detections. Finally, I implemented the modified uh, VIRS closure index, which normalizes every month detections against that year's May baseline. This removes inter-annual validations due to fleet size or sensor differences and enable meaningful comparison over years. So these were the results that were obtained. Uh, Validation was one of the most important components of this work. First, I statistically validated the MVCI using one sample t-test. The reduction observed during June, July, and August were all statistically significant with p-values below 0.01. I also compared the June with July and July with August to evaluate progression of fishing activity throughout the closure period. To test the robustness of the framework, I normalized detection by raster composite length because different VRS products represented between 15 and 31 days. This changed the result by only 1 or 2 percentage point, indicating that the conclusions were not influenced by different observation period. Uh, so then I compared the total detections with uh, active pixels, and obtained a correlation coefficient of 0.096. The limitations of this work, most importantly, is that only 4 years of where the data was analyzed, and uh, majorly it was not covered up to 12 years. And BRS detects only illuminated vessels and can be affected by cloud cover during the monsoon season. Therefore, it should not replace the AIS, but instead it should complement existing maritime surveillance, and in the future could be integrated with other technologies. So, to conclude, the validated VRS-based framework for monitoring small fishing vessels beyond AIS coverage using Maharashtra's proof of concept, the framework consistently detected the statistically significant reductions in the vessel activity across 4 independent years. Although the demonstrated using Maharashtra's, this framework has a potential to be extended to monitor small artisanal fishing fleets using potential to extend the monitor small artisanal fishing fleets across the Indian EZ, and can serve as a valuable component to existing AIS-based maritime domain awareness systems. Thank you.